So recently, or maybe not recently, I've been always, I guess, fascinated with the brain and behavior and why we are the way we are. So I went to psychology. I finished my BA in psychology and sociology. So I'm really interested in people and why we are the way we are and why we do things we do and why we value some things but we don't do them. And today's video will be about brain, mind, and consciousness. I read a lot about it in English, so I decided to talk in English. And I was kind of triggered. I was listening to a podcast with Tatiana Chernigovskaya. She is a very popular speaker about the brain. She is a professor in a brain institute in Russia, and she's a popularizer of everything about the brain. And in one talk, she said that she studies brain, and she thinks that brain is something external, and the brain has its own life. It makes its own decisions, and then only we as humans or whoever we are in relation to the brain, we act upon it or don't act. And somebody asked her, maybe in some time we can unite the brain and with individual and not stop talking about it and me, but we will start to talking about us as brain and us. So like for many of us, maybe it sounds strange that somebody kind of distinguish brain from the person, but in her opinion it's so fascinating entity that it might be as a separate entity. And the example she gave was the experience and a research paper article in scientist sources that there was experiment with electrodes attached to the brain of the person. So the scientists tracked the reaction time in decision making. I don't have the details of the experiment, but from the time that brain showed the activity or that was interpreted as decision making to the actual action pressing the button by person was 30 seconds. And Tatiana Chernigovskaya, she was shocked by that, because imagine 30 seconds, half of the minute. Brain knew the answer 30 seconds prior to person acting about this knowledge or decision. And she was writing to the author of this experiment the article, and she asked, maybe you forgot m, like milliseconds? And the person, no, it's 30 seconds. And Tatiana Chernigovskaya said, like, who was pressing the button? Well, who was making the decision? What is it, this brain, who made decision 30 seconds before the person is aware of this decision? And it might be quite shocking and uncomfortable to realize that somebody or something like brain guides our behavior, and it knows what happens 30 seconds before it happens. 30 seconds before we decide to press the button. And for me it wasn't uncomfortable to know this news or information, because I was reading and searching about consciousness, quantum fields that are conscious. So imagine that we have this quantum field which is conscious, and each of us is a state of this quantum field. So we are states. We are all, each of us is unique state for some purpose in life, and each experience of each of us is unique. That a lot of uniqueness, okay? But we are all interconnected in a way that we are states of the same consciousness, of the same field. So we are interconnected. Then brain is a physical, it's a gray matter, it's a physical thing, you can touch it, right? Sometimes consciousness, you cannot touch it, but it's there. It is the ultimate matter or energy that we have, and each brain is a property of the body or part of the body, but bodies are connected to the mind and consciousness, so we can navigate reality being in our bodies, because only body can have experience. The consciousness cannot have experience. It has knowledge, energy, but experience is something unique to a human being that AI and machines, they don't have experiences. They don't have body to experience. So how, and I always want to connect things to make sense for myself. So connecting body, mind, spirit, consciousness, for me it looks like we have body, we have brain as a part of the body. So brain is an instrument or something that can create experience, not create experience, but can feel, can have experiences together with the rest of the body. Brain is a part of the body. But then without connection or understanding, like conscious connection, when we understand the interconnectedness of each of us and connection to the whole consciousness, without this connection, we are very, or without understanding or proving scientifically of this connection, we are disconnected to from the whole picture. And if we apply only scientific method, which is something that can be proved scientifically on this technological level that we have now, which is limited because it's changing over the time, right? So if we apply only scientific method, we are limited. We will be always surprised how the brain works, because this scientific method is not enough to understand. So when we go outside of this and we allow ourselves to feel, to value our intuition, feelings, sensations, to integrate them with a bigger picture about conscious quantum fields, the picture of the world becomes less surprising, more like larger to understand, to make it to conceptualize. But when you integrate all those layers, all those understandings that we are all unique in our states of, as being states of one, and we are all interconnected, and we are one in the ultimate understanding, then a lot of things do not make sense. How we behave, how we compete with each other. Like for me, of a person who has autoimmune, it's my example. When something is going on in my body, inflammation, parts of my body who should be aligned and work together, they start to treat each other as competitors, as enemies. And that's why I have this disease, and I have to deal with it. So when I get my body into peaceful state, all parts of my body, then it will be functioning more optionally, not optionally, like more efficiently and to the full of its potential. The same with society, as I see. When we understand that we are not here to compete with each other or outcompete, we will live in more efficient, more developed, more highly developed way that we are capable of. For that, we just need to understand and embody the concept of uniqueness of each other. So if you accept that each state of quantum field is unique, there is no point to compete, because you are unique. How you can be better than other? You are perfect in your uniqueness. When you understand it, then you search for your mission in life, for your place, for your purpose, because you have to have one. If you are unique, you have to have something unique that you were brought here, or your state of the field was created for some purpose. What is your purpose? That could be the focus of your life, not out-competing somebody, not proving yourself to somebody. And another thing, that we are all interconnected. Whatever you think about yourself or others, it will influence, it will have effect on the whole, and it will be the part of context. When we try to understand something, we need to understand, or we need to pay attention to context, not just one. It's in Gestalt psychology, it's said that you need to not just to pay attention to subject, but to the background, to the context as a whole. And in this way, we will see the purpose of others in your life, the purpose of others and their uniqueness in the whole conception of the world. Yeah, that's how I see the world, how I want to navigate it, and how I want to develop in this. And this concept, like this framework, gives a lot to learn, a lot to practice, a lot to develop, a lot to improve for all of us. So yeah, give me your comments.